The Star Wars brand continues to sink faster than the Titanic.
The following is a world-class Bullshitters exclusive.
Disney is known for two things: movies and theme parks. So when they purchased Lucasfilm in 2012, Star Wars fans were curious as to what they'd be seeing in the near future. Fast forward to 2017, when Disney announced it would be creating a Star Wars hotel for its Florida theme park. On March 1st, 2022, the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser was opened, and in record time, it will be closing. Disney World is shutting down the Galactic Starcruiser, the immersive Star Wars-themed hotel that costs around $5,000 for a 2-night stay. In an update on the Disney website, the company says the Starcruiser will host its final guests from September 28th to the 30th. We are so proud of all the cast members and Imagineers who brought Star Wars the Galactic Starcruiser to life, and look forward to delivering an excellent experience for guests during the remaining voyages over the coming months, Disney's update says. Thank you to our guests and fans for making this experience so special. Disney's Galactic Starcruiser hasn't been around for very long. It only first opened its doors in March of 2022. The lavish hotel is modeled after the Halcyon in Star Wars, featuring a highly detailed decor, interactive events, themed dining, and live entertainment spanning a 2-night experience. But with a price of roughly $4,800 for 2 adults or $6,000 for 3 adults and 1 child, Disney doesn't exactly make taking the stay very affordable. There have been signs that the experience may have been struggling, however. In March, Disney announced that it would start scheduling 2 bookings per week in October, down from its typical 3 to 4 weekly bookings. With the Halcyon set to close in September, Disney won't get the chance to make this change. It's been a pretty rough day for Disney. In addition to closing up the Galactic Starcruiser, CEO Bob Iger announced that the company is canceling its plans to build a $1 billion development near its Orlando theme park. The move, which Iger attributes to changing business conditions in an internal memo, is likely the result of Disney's feud with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Disney sued Florida last month, accusing the state of partaking in a targeted campaign of government retaliation after the company expressed opposition to the state's Don't Say Gay law. The canceled project also means that 2,000 Disney employees in California will no longer have to relocate to Florida, one of the reasons why workers staged a walkout last year. How could anyone have seen this coming? When initially announced, fans mocked the price. $6,000 for a 2-night stay was incredibly steep no matter the brand. Some speculated that Disney would lower the price to entice more visitors, but after this news, we know that's not the Tiffany case. Star Wars has been one of the most successful brands in history. Fans have spent billions of dollars on merchandise from the galaxy far, far away, and Disney was banking on that for the Galactic Starcruiser. What they failed to realize is that there may have been fans for the new version of Star Wars, but that number is nothing when compared to the massive amount of fans the original Star Wars trilogy has. The push to use the modern sequel trilogy characters in the Galactic Starcruiser was definitely a deciding factor in its demise. Adult fans, the ones who have a strong emotional connection to Star Wars, were not emotionally invested in the new era of the franchise. Characters like Rey, Kylo Ren, and the rest of the gang were not a draw. The sequel trilogy itself relied heavily on nostalgia from the original trilogy, and when Disney created an experience that was only the sequel trilogy, fans largely ignored it. Fans were not going to pay through the nose for the sequel trilogy. Anyone could have seen that coming. Of course, there's pushback to this, but the numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for the Galactic Starcruiser. Disney invested $2 billion in the hotel, only to have it close in just over a year. They could not justify the high price to fans for a lackluster experience. Everything that has happened with Star Wars since Disney took over led to this closing. Once Disney took over, Star Wars became a battleground for modern identity politics and bad derivative storytelling. On top of that, fans did not connect with the new characters and were mocked for their displeasure with the treatment of Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Princess Leia, and the rest. While the price of the Star Wars hotel was the ultimate factor for its closing, one can't help to think that a hotel based on the original trilogy would have been more successful. People spend money on things they love, and fans love the original films from nearly 45 years ago. Basing it on something they've loved their entire life would have brought in more money than basing it off the new, trendy Star Wars that longtime fans abandoned a long time ago. This will go down as one of the all-time great failures in theme park history. In just over a year, the Star Wars Galactic Cruiser has crashed, and there were no survivors. Like we've said on the channel, if you would have made this a night at the Death Star, you could have justified a higher price. Stay on the Millennium Falcon, go to the Mos Eisley Cantina. Star Wars has wonderful locales from around the galaxy, and there's no reason that Disney had to choose this. But we know the real reason. The woman in charge of Star Wars, Kathleen Kennedy, pushed for the new Star Wars and pushed out the old. I don't know why she chose to do that, but ultimately it was a terrible decision. Longtime fans saw this coming. We knew that the new trilogy wasn't successful. That's why when you go to a discount chain like Ollie's, you can go find Star Wars toys based on those films readily available. The Star Wars sequel trilogy toys that we're talking about from Ollie's are old toys from 2017 that haven't sold and are still sitting there. Those characters were not beloved. They never were and they never will be. But this is a result of being out of touch with your consumer base. The Star Wars fan base is massive, and the income bracket for Star Wars fans varies from the top to the bottom, but it has to be an experience that's worth the money. I can't stress how funny this is. Again, how did people not see this coming? $6,000 for a 2-night experience that wasn't even a full 48 hours? You got to hang out on the starship that no one gives a damn about. You got to play 80s-looking arcade video games, eat overpriced food, and watch cosplayers fight with toy lightsabers? It's like going to a Comic-Con. You can get that for the price of a ticket. Hell, every city in America has a comic convention. Come to the Cincinnati Comic Expo to meet us. But you can go and see Rey and Kylo Ren and Dickie cosplayers run around and act like their version of Star Wars is great. But it's not. This is just more concrete proof that that version of Star Wars didn't work, will not work, and isn't worth a damn. If all roads lead to the sequel trilogy, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Oh, we're going to lead The Mandalorian into the New Order and all this shit. Why? Nobody fucking likes that version. Sorry to cuss, not sorry to cuss. It's Disney Star Wars, it's garbage, it's bullshit, and no one enjoys it. All we can do is point our fingers and laugh. Laugh at the failure of Disney, laugh at the hubris of Kathleen Kennedy and the ego of Bob Iger. This is their failure, and they deserve it. Disney can't make a good business decision to save their life. I mean, ever since they bought Marvel Comics, we've had shittier and shittier characters shoved down our throats to the point where we celebrate when they die. And now you have Star Wars filled with characters that very few people like. Oh, but Rey is an icon to girls. Who gives a shit? Those little girls ain't buying anything for Star Wars. They don't have any buying power, and the things they are buying aren't Star Wars related. Lucasfilm, you've taken the Star Wars brand and you've rubbed it in bantha poodoo, and now you expect us to just open our wallets and say, hey, we love Star Wars, we'll buy in. No, we won't. Absolutely not. No thank you, Kathleen Kennedy. No thank you to anyone at Lucasfilm. You guys have shot yourselves in the foot, and now you're bleeding out. I'm not going to help. I'm not going to give you a bandage. I'm just going to stand there and watch you bleed. I hate to say it, but this is what they deserve. They get what they deserve. Again, spending years dumping on the fans. Oh, it's Russian bots. People love our movies. They're just terrible individuals on the internet. They're racist. They're trolls. They're bigots. Guess what? We're none of those things, and we all have money, and none of us are spending it at your fucking theme park because it's overpriced and it's not worth a damn. You know, a good place that I had a lot of fun at was Super Nintendo World. Not going to give a commercial for that, but that was a fun experience that was worth the price of admission. Because that's all it cost was the price of admission. $6,000, bitch? Come on. Get your head out of your asses, Disney. In these trying economic times, you really think you're going to be able to milk people for that much money to go sit in a fucking dark room with video screens and eat overpriced theme park food? For $6,000, I better get Gordon Ramsay in there to fucking cook me a meal and yell at the fucking stormtroopers along with me. Why not include old Star Wars actors like Billy D. Williams or Mark Hamill? Have them show up at the Galactic Starcruiser. Oh man, a night with Luke Skywalker where he tells you, you sit around the Jedi campfire and he tells you galactic stories of, I don't know, basically he just retells you the original Star Wars like that scene in Return of the Jedi. I'm just spitballing here. I'm trying to come up with reasons and ways to make this thing worth the money. Here's how you could actually make the Galactic Starcruiser worth it. You go, you spend your $6,000, you spend your 48 hours there, and at the end of it, they refund you for $4,000. $1,000 a day is a lot of money. It's still too much money. Shit. I don't know. I feel like this is a game of limbo. How low can you go? How low are you willing to pay for the Star Wars Starcruiser? I'll tell you this. I'm going to beat everybody. I'll pay $0, and I'll go this October. No, I won't, because nobody else will. So, folks, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to stop celebrating. It's like the end of Return of the Jedi up in here. We're all dancing around the campfire. We're hitting the shit out of these Imperial helmets, and we're lighting somebody on fire because it's that kind of party. So, I'm going to go to Galactic Burning Man and have a good time with these Ewoks. I've been trying to hold back my laughter and my excitement, but you get what you deserve, Disney. This is exactly what we expected to happen, and this is exactly what they deserve. It all came back to bite them in the ass, and this is just the first domino to fall. First the Galactic Starcruiser, then Galaxy's Edge, then Star Wars itself. Folks, thank you for watching. We'll be back before the Galactic Starcruiser crashes. Actually, we'll be back in a little bit to talk about Indiana Jones 5 and how rotten it is. So make sure you're subscribed to this channel and watch every video that we put out to follow the never-ending saga that is the decline of Western entertainment. So folks, thank you for watching. I'll be back next time very soon. But in the meantime, be smart, be safe, be cool, but always be excellent to each other. Thanks for watching today's video. Yes, it's over, but don't cry because there's more, a lot more from World Class Bullshitters. And there's only one way to get it. Hit that subscribe button below. When you do that, you'll get notifications and updates from World Class Bullshitters every time we go live. Basically, you won't miss anything. And if there's one thing I hate, it's FOMO. But the thing most people hate more than FOMO is fear of missing out on World Class Bullshitters because there's just some things you can't undo. So folks, do yourselves a favor and never miss anything from World Class Bullshitters. One last thing before you go, hit the thumbs up button. Not for our egos, no, they're big enough as this, but it does help us fight the algorithm here, and well, it's man versus machine, and that's the real fight. But if that's not your battle, that's okay. There's one last way you can help WCBS, and that's going over to shopwcbs.com, picking up a t-shirt, a beer glass, a sweatshirt, a poster, all sorts of ways to back WCBS. The difference between us and other YouTube channels is I'm the artist that makes all this stuff, so if you enjoy art, beyond t-shirts, you can even read our comic books. We got it all. We're called the epitome of pop culture for a reason, and no, again, it's not for our egos. So folks, make sure you're involved with every aspect of World Class Bullshitters, not just for us, but do it for yourself. We're making the change in entertainment everybody out there wants to see. And a special thank you goes out to all of our wonderful patrons who make this content possible. Go to patreon.com/worldclassbs to get involved and help out the channel.